What is a promise worth if it can be broken the moment it stops feeling good? That's the question nobody wants to ask, because deep down, we already know the answer. Promises sound beautiful. They feel safe. They're wrapped in warm words and sweet smiles. But when reality comes knocking, words don't protect you. They never did. In today's world, promises aren't vows. They're just placeholders until something better shows up. Loyalty isn't sacred. It's convenient. We live in a time where attention is currency, temptation is everywhere, and loyalty lasts as long as your value stays high. Women are praised for being loving, nurturing, and loyal, but reality tells a different story. A promise is only as strong as the emotions behind it, and emotions change faster than ever. One swipe, one DM, one better option, and a promise you trusted becomes nothing but air. If you've ever been ghosted, cheated on, or left without warning, you already understand this truth. People break promises not because they're evil, but because their feelings, their circumstances, and their priorities shift. And women are no exception. Modern relationships aren't built on trust. They're built on negotiation. Promises are leverage. They're made when someone wants to secure your loyalty, your resources, or your time. And the second that deal no longer benefits them, the promise fades. That's not romance. That's survival. You've been told that love is unconditional. It's not. You've been told that loyalty is a virtue. It's rare. You've been told promises are forever. They're temporary. This isn't a hate speech. It's a wake-up call. Stop believing words and start reading actions. Because in this world, trust isn't earned by what people say. It's earned by what they do when nobody's watching. And once you accept that, you'll never get played again. Words are the cheapest currency in today's world. They cost nothing, yet they can buy your trust, your time, and your loyalty if you're not careful. A woman's promise isn't a vow carved in stone. It's smoke, floating in the air, disappearing the second reality changes. She doesn't have to mean harm. She doesn't even have to be dishonest. But her words are a reflection of how she feels in that moment, and feelings are never permanent. She says she'll always love you because she feels love right now. She says she'll never leave because, at this second, she can't imagine life without you. But life moves fast, and so does her heart. Her words aren't lies. They're snapshots of her emotions. And emotions are temporary. Men lose when they believe that words are contracts. That's why so many end up blindsided. You believed the whispers, the late-night confessions, the forevers, thinking they held weight. But they didn't. Her words didn't bind her to you. They bound you to her. That's the trap. The sooner a man learns that promises don't hold power, the sooner he stops living in fear of them breaking. Stop clinging to what she said and start watching what she does. Her loyalty isn't in her language. It's in her choices when no one is watching. This is why strong men don't seek verbal assurance. They create a reality where breaking a promise has consequences. They don't beg for loyalty. They inspire it. They build themselves into men who are hard to replace. The truth is, words have no teeth, but power does. Men who understand this never chase promises. They control outcomes. Once you see the mirage for what it is, her words lose their grip over you forever. In today's world, emotions are the real currency. Love isn't built on promises or vows. It's built on how someone feels about you in the moment. A woman can swear she'll stand by your side forever, but if her feelings for you change, that promise dies instantly. This isn't evil. It's human nature. Women, more than men, are ruled by emotion. If she feels safe, desired, and excited around you, her loyalty is strong. The moment that feeling fades, so does her investment. That's why so many men are shocked when someone they trusted turns cold overnight. Her love didn't vanish in one day. It faded slowly as her emotional connection drained until nothing was left but distance. This is why emotional control is a man's greatest weapon. Weak men hand their emotional power over to women and hope she treats it well. Strong men never do. A man who understands emotional currency knows he has to keep her feelings invested. He doesn't rely on her words. He keeps her hooked with his presence, his ambition, and his leadership. He knows that a woman isn't loyal to his promises. She's loyal to the way she feels around him. That's why confidence, mystery, and strength are priceless. They make her feel something she doesn't want to lose. A man who can control his emotions and influence hers will never have to beg for loyalty. He becomes the source of her emotional highs, and that's where true power lies. In a world where feelings change daily, you can't demand love. You have to be the kind of man whose presence makes breaking a promise feel like losing everything. That's the difference between men who get played and men who never worry about another promise again. Loyalty doesn't live in today's world the way it used to. It's no longer about genuine connection, it's about perception. Social media has turned relationships into a stage where everyone performs love, loyalty, and happiness for an audience that doesn't care. A woman can post a picture of you together, write a sweet caption, and tag you in her story. But that doesn't mean she's loyal. It means she's curating an image. Behind those smiling pictures, her DMs are full of options, attention, and validation from men who would replace you in a second. Loyalty isn't a virtue anymore, it's a costume. And every like, comment, and heart emoji fuels that performance. Men who don't understand this fall for the illusion. They see public displays of affection as proof of devotion, not realizing that in the age of Instagram and TikTok, loyalty is just another form of branding. She can say she loves you while entertaining backup plans. She can show off your relationship to the world while scrolling through a lineup of men ready to take your place. This is the reality of a world where attention has become more valuable than intimacy. The truth is, loyalty cannot be proven online. It's proven in silence. It's what she does when no one is watching, when there's no audience, no validation, and no reward. Smart men don't get blinded by a pretty post or a cute caption. They read between the lines. They know that loyalty has to be earned and guarded in private, not displayed for applause. Social media turned relationships into theater, and if you're not careful, you'll play the fool in someone else's show. Men who see through the performance stop chasing validation and start demanding respect. That's real power. Men are taught to believe that women are naturally nurturing, steady, and loyal, but that belief is one of the biggest traps a man can fall into. The truth is, women are not built for consistency. They are built for adaptability. They change their style, their opinions, their goals, and even their values based on how they feel and what benefits them at the moment. This isn't hate, it's survival. Women have mastered the art of shifting to their surroundings because it keeps them safe and gives them leverage. A woman will be the sweet, caring partner when she's in love, and she'll be distant and cold when her interest fades. This is why so many men are shocked when the woman they knew last year feels like a stranger today. Consistency is a masculine trait. Men who are grounded in their mission, their values, and their strength are the ones who create stability. Women move with emotion and instinct. This is why strong men never expect a woman to stay the same forever. They know she will change with her environment, with her level of attraction, and with the opportunities around her. Weak men think a woman's love today guarantees her love tomorrow, and that's why they get blindsided. A man's advantage is understanding this nature and leading anyway. If you're consistent, focused, and unshakable, you don't need her to be. You give her a reason to follow your lead because you bring what she can't. Stability. Stop expecting a woman to be your rock. Become the rock yourself. When you master your emotions, your path, and your value, her changes don't threaten you. You control the dynamic. She can change, but she won't risk losing a man she can't replace. That's real security. A promise isn't a bond, it's a tool. Most men make the mistake of thinking promises are sacred, that when a woman says she'll always stay, she means it with her soul. But in reality, promises are often strategic. They're used to secure a position, lock in a benefit, or gain security. A woman promises loyalty when she feels safe and when she needs stability. She promises forever when it benefits her future. And when that promise stops serving her, it dissolves. This isn't cruelty, it's leverage. In a world where everyone is fighting for their best outcome, words become weapons, not vows. Strong men see this for what it is. They understand that a woman's promises are often tied to what she's gaining in that moment, not what she'll feel next year. That's why they don't rely on verbal commitments. They build themselves into men so valuable that breaking a promise feels like losing a prize. A woman will stay true to a man not because she said she would, but because walking away costs too much. Weak men cling to her words and end up blindsided when reality doesn't match the promises they were sold. But powerful men operate on action and results. They create dynamics where loyalty becomes the natural choice, not an obligation. This is why some men never have to beg for respect or chase reassurance, because their value demands it. Once you understand that a promise is a negotiation, not a guarantee, you stop giving your heart away for free. You start treating relationships like what they are, exchanges of value. And in that reality, leverage always beats trust. Build leverage, and you'll never need a woman's promise to feel secure again. We live in a world where loyalty is harder to find than ever because options are endless. Decades ago, a woman's dating pool was limited to her neighborhood, her job, or her social circle. Now, with a swipe, she can access men from all over the world. Instagram DMs, dating apps, and social media followers have turned every woman into a walking celebrity with a line of men ready to take their shot. This isn't opinion, it's reality. And when someone knows they have options, their promises become weaker. Why settle for one when you have 20 more waiting? That's the silent question running through her mind, even if she doesn't say it out loud. This is why men who don't understand the game get crushed. They cling to old ideals of loyalty, thinking love is enough to hold her attention. But in a marketplace where attention is currency, the man who stands out wins. A woman will always chase what feels rare, what feels hard to get, and what feels valuable. If she has options and you're easy to replace, she won't hesitate to move on. That's why powerful men don't compete with her options. They rise above them. They become so valuable, so focused, so hard to access, that she doesn't even see those other men as choices. Weak men complain about women having too many options, but strong men thrive in this reality because they know the truth. Competition creates kings. If you're average, you drown. If you're exceptional, you dominate. The modern marketplace has exposed men who can't lead, who can't stand out, and who can't keep a woman's attention. Build yourself until you're the man she can't afford to lose. In a world full of choices, only the strongest men get chosen. Commitment today isn't built on loyalty or love. It's built on convenience. A woman will stay as long as staying is easier than leaving. The second the balance shifts, when walking away feels simpler or more rewarding, she'll go. It's not about good or bad, it's about effort. We live in a culture that has trained people to chase comfort, to avoid discomfort, and to always seek the path of least resistance. Why fight for a relationship when you can leave and find something new with a swipe? Why fix something when walking away takes less energy? This is why so many relationships collapse overnight. It's not hate, it's convenience winning. Men who don't understand this truth end up confused and bitter. They think love alone should hold a woman in place. But in reality, if she feels like she's carrying more weight than she's getting in return, she'll leave. It doesn't matter what she promised or how deep her words sounded months ago. A man's advantage is knowing this dynamic and creating an environment where staying with him is the easiest, most rewarding choice she can make. That doesn't mean begging or pleasing her. It means building himself into a man who adds so much value that leaving feels like a downgrade. The truth is simple. When you stop being convenient, when your presence stops making her life easier, she won't hesitate to cut ties. Weak men take this personally and blame women. Strong men use this reality to stay sharp. They focus on leveling up, on being the prize, on making commitment feel like a privilege. In a world that worships comfort, the man who stays disciplined and valuable will always hold the power. Commitment lasts when convenience works in your favor. The idea of a soulmate is one of the biggest lies men have been sold. Movies, songs, and social media drip feed this fantasy that somewhere out there is one perfect woman destined to love you forever, no matter what. That myth has destroyed more men than heartbreak ever could. It makes men weak, desperate, and blind to reality. There is no magical connection that overrides human nature. There's no cosmic bond that keeps her loyal when temptation knocks. Women aren't leaving because you didn't meet the one. They're leaving because you stopped being the best choice. The truth hurts, but it's freeing. Attraction, love, and loyalty are choices, not destiny. And those choices are based on value, not fairy tales. Strong men understand this and never tie their worth to one woman. They know relationships are built, not fated. They know women are drawn to men who create their own destiny, not men waiting for fate to hand them happiness. A man who believes in soulmates gives away his power because he believes she's irreplaceable. That's how he ends up controlled, manipulated, or abandoned. When you see through the myth, everything changes. You stop chasing the illusion of the one and start becoming the man that women chase. You realize there are countless women who would gladly step into her place if she walked away. That's not arrogance. That's reality. In a world full of options, the only constant is your value. Build yourself so high that she doesn't stay because of some fantasy love story. She stays because being with you is the smartest decision she'll ever make. Stop searching for a soulmate. Start building a life where you're the prize. That's how men win in a world built on illusions. A woman's loyalty is tied to how she sees you on her internal ladder of value. Hypergamy isn't a buzzword, it's reality. Women are wired to seek the highest value man they can get, and that value is constantly shifting. If she believes she can trade up, she will. It doesn't matter how much history you share or how many promises she's made. If her perception of your value drops, so does her attraction. Men who don't understand this spend their lives shocked when the woman who once adored them suddenly grows distant. She didn't change overnight. She just started seeing other options as better investments. That's how ruthless nature is, and pretending otherwise will only get you hurt. This is why strong men never relax. They don't stop improving because they understand that their value is their leverage. Weak men think getting her was the finish line, but powerful men know keeping her is a byproduct of always leveling up. Hypergamy is not something to cry about. It's something to use. It separates men who rise from men who settle. When you're building wealth, power, fitness, and influence, you climb her ladder so high, she stops looking for better because there is no better. Most men get replaced because they thought love was enough to secure them a spot. It's not. In her mind, value is survival, and survival always wins over sentiment. A man who understands this truth never fears losing a woman because he knows he can attract another. He knows women chase upward, and he's always moving upward. That's the game. Don't complain about hypergamy. Dominate it. Make yourself the peak of her ladder, and she won't climb anywhere else. She'll hold on, because men like you are rare. People like to think promises are proof of character. In reality, promises are proof of desire in the moment. Human nature is stronger than any vow, and instincts will always override words when the pressure hits. A woman may swear loyalty, but survival, attraction, and opportunity can flip that loyalty without warning. This isn't because she's bad. It's because people act in their own interest first. When her needs change, her choices change. When her feelings shift, her actions follow. This is the part most men refuse to accept. They want to believe a promise can stop temptation. But a promise is just sound. Human nature is action. A man who bets on words instead of instincts is a man ready to be blindsided. The advantage comes when you stop expecting anyone to rise above their own nature. You build your life knowing that people, including women, move toward what benefits them. You build leverage instead of hope. You create a position where keeping her word benefits her more than breaking it. That's not manipulation, that's reality. Men who win understand that loyalty isn't gifted, it's incentivized. They build themselves so strong that her instincts push her to stay. Weak men complain about betrayal and broken promises. Strong men plan for it. They know trust is built on aligned interests, not empty vows. When you see human nature clearly, you stop handing out blind faith. You stop confusing nice words for security. You start creating conditions where loyalty becomes the easiest, smartest path for her. That's when her nature works for you, not against you. In a world where instinct always beats intention, only the men who accept reality hold the power. The biggest mistake men make is still believing that words will keep someone in line. Machiavelli wrote that it's safer to be feared than loved, because love is fragile, but consequences are real. In the modern world, that doesn't mean scaring women, it means building power. Power is what makes people think twice before crossing you. Power is what makes loyalty feel like the smart move, not the noble one. If you're a man waiting for a woman's promise to protect you, you're standing unarmed in a battlefield. Her promise is only as strong as her incentives. When the incentives change, the promise dies. Men who understand this never beg, they never plead, they never sit around hoping. They build themselves so high that breaking their trust feels like cutting off a lifeline. That's the cure. Stop chasing vows. Start creating leverage. Make your value, your network, your ambition, and your discipline so solid that staying true to you is easier than betraying you. Make your presence an advantage she doesn't want to lose. When you live like this, you don't care about words anymore, because actions will always show. Weak men cry about women not keeping promises. Strong men make themselves impossible to betray without pain. In a world where everyone is chasing comfort and options, the man who controls his life, his emotions, and his resources controls the dynamic. He doesn't argue about loyalty. He sets the rules that make loyalty automatic. This is the final step in turning the game around. Stop asking for honesty. Stop waiting for forever. Build the kind of power where forever becomes her choice, because losing you costs too much. That's not fantasy. That's how men win.